If you've ever come home from a trip and said, I need a vacation from my vacation, then we created this video for you. We've been traveling full time since 2023, and we've done some slow travel and some fast travel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the differences between the two and why one almost always wins.
But first, if you're new to our channel, we're Amelia and JP, and since 2018, we've been helping people just like you live their best lives, whether you want to travel around the world by slow traveling or move to another country. You can just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Like Aladdin, isn't that from Aladdin?
I don't know.
All right, let's dive in and talk about the differences between slow travel and fast travel. And by the end of this video, you're going to have a completely different perspective about what travel really is and what it can look like.
It is exciting to think about.
It is. All right, the first one is there's a big emotional difference that, fast travel can feel very exciting and stimulating at first, but then we found that even with us and with other people we know, it kind of wears off after about a week and people are ready to go back home.
Yes.
And I think a big part of that is the emotional drain it takes to plan everything out and race from thing to thing, and you're busy touring all day long. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting, and it is overstimulating, which could really cause you eventually to just kind of shut down, where you're right, you need a day off. You need a couple days off just to recuperate and kind of sit back and do nothing. That's when you want to go lay out by the pool.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, so slow travel is different because it allows you to really kind of settle in and experience a place, and instead of feeling like you have to run from site to site because you're only here for 5 or 7 days, you can take a day off if you want to and read a book or watch Netflix, binge watch your favorite show, or just go sit in a cafe and have coffee and, scroll Instagram or whatever it is you want to do. People watch.
I like to people watch.
Yeah, so slow travel gives you the opportunity to do that so that you're not exhausted from the travel.
And also, when people take these tour trips, they're going and changing locations every day too. I cannot even imagine. I've never done a trip like that. I know some people love it because you get to see a lot of things, but we've heard from so many people that they are just completely wiped out afterwards.
I can't imagine. I would not want to do one of those. We haven't done one, and I couldn't do that. A friend of ours told us recently, there's a saying, it's Tuesday must be Belgium, because they're in a different country every day and they don't know where they are unless they look at the itinerary to see, I guess it's Tuesday, so it must be Belgium.
Yeah. I like to be able to really settle in and take my time.
Yeah, so slow travel feels a lot less like a vacation. It doesn't feel like a vacation at all. It feels like you're living somewhere temporarily. And that's why we call our group trips with our Turtle Travel Club Leaps. It's kind of a paying homage to Quantum Leap from that 80s TV show, because it feels like we're leaping into another life for a short period of time, and we're actually living there like a local and getting a real feel for that. And I feel like that really helps us, recharge and really experience what a place what it feels like to live there.
Well, especially since we are trying to test drive different countries to see if we want to stay any place longer. You really don't know if you're just doing a quick drive-by tour. And sometimes they literally are drive-by tours.
Yeah, it's like, there goes.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been on those locally. It's like, there it is.
Yeah, it's nice to actually have boots on the ground where you're getting out, walking around the neighborhoods, really picking up the vibe. And you don't know that until you've been in a place longer.
Yeah, I think maybe the emotional highs may be lower. They may not be as high as it is when you fast travel and you go to Paris for a week. It may not. Slow travel doesn't feel like that, but it is a lot calmer and deeper, and you get a richer feeling from it.
It's interesting because I still get the high when we first get to a brand new place, because it's always exciting to go out and have the discovery. But to me, part of the excitement is knowing that I have so much time to spend here, so I don't have to have this feeling of anxiety thinking I'm not going to get to experience everything I want.
Those are all good points.
Well, thank you.
All right. The second way that the two forms of travel are different is what happens to your energy levels. When you travel a lot, you're packing and unpacking constantly. That is very draining. Travel days are exhausting. I absolutely hate travel days. We don't sleep well the night before, especially if we're going on a plane. Train travel is a little bit different. I don't have any sleep issues if we're going on a train, but
Yeah.
planes.
I used to get anxiety. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be since we've been doing this more, but it's still my least favorite part of the whole thing. Even living out of a suitcase isn't as bad as travel day.
I know the travel day is exhausting. And we also have decision fatigue, what Amelia likes to call analysis paralysis.
Yes.
Like, what flight should we take? What place should we stay in? What city should we go to? And when you travel, when you fast travel, you're making these decisions a lot more frequently than if you go to a place for a month or 2 or 3.
That's true.
And it kind of weighs on
There's
you.
a lot of this going on.
Yeah, so slow travel removes a lot of that logistical exhaustion.
I agree with that. Because I know I spend enough time just trying to plan out for a monthly stay.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine if I was trying to plan out things every week.
Yeah. So plus, when you stay someplace longer, you get into a nice routine. You sleep better. You eat healthier. You can have an exercise routine. We find that when we travel to a new city, like the first few days or even a week is kind of like throwaway. We are eating out more. Our diet's terrible. We're not exercising. But then after that first week, we kind of settle in and we act more like normal human beings.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yes, we don't feel compelled to be out all the time. We like to go for our walks no matter what, but we do settle in and kind of calm down.
Yeah. So basically, when you slow travel, more energy goes into the experiences and actually living than into like transportation and lodging and all those travel decisions. The third difference is vacation mode versus living mode. And we've seen this a lot with our turtles on our leaps because they're 2 weeks long. The first week, they are in full on vacation mode. The second week, they start to settle in and they definitely feel like they're in more of a slow travel mindset.
Yeah, it is definitely noticeable and it is understandable, just like what we talked about. You're excited, you're in a new place, you want to see everything, and well, then they kind of get tired. So, so then they have to take a break. And then it starts to be more about getting to know the area, getting to know each other, exactly, finding their favorite places. Like they have places where they like to go to have drinks or coffee or their favorite restaurant and go to the grocery store, things like that.
Yeah.
Much more like normal life.
So when you're in vacation mode, you feel like you focus on landmarks and attractions and bucket list things. Like, I got to go see this. We have to go see the Prague Castle. We got to see the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
We got to see the London Bridge, or the Tower Bridge, actually. But I mean, you got to see all of those things. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's fun to do that stuff.
Yeah,
but
we do all of that.
It is, yeah. But you feel this pressure to make the most of every day. Like, you can't sit still. I'm here for a week. I can't take a day off. I've got to go see this stuff.
You know, it's really interesting because we've gotten so used to traveling like this that I just don't have that sense of, if I don't go and get it done right away, it's just not going to happen. I don't have that compulsion to go out immediately. But that's also because we spend more time and we've gotten into this nice flow that we can just take our time, get to know the area first, and then go out and do the touristy stuff that we like to do.
Yeah.
Because we also like to do it when it's not full on tourist time, like the peak times, the weekends and things like that.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to go on a slow day.
Yes.
A lot of times we film our videos and people ask, like, where is everybody? Well, we went on a day no one else went. And it's the nice thing about staying a place longer is that you can save those busy spots for a slow day.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had that in Rome.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere we've gone out on a slow day and had places to ourselves, which is nice.
We have more flexibility, which is extremely important.
Yeah, with fast travel, it kind of becomes like a series of snapshots. Like you're just, I call it running from selfie to selfie. And you don't have to do that if you're staying in a place for 2 weeks or a month or longer.
Another thing that we've observed, and this has happened to us too, is that when people are there for a short amount of time and they are on their week-long vacation, and if they get sick, then they miss it. And we know multiple people that this has happened to, and it's happened to some of our turtles where they've come and they've been under the weather for a few days. And I always remind them, thank goodness that we have extra time so that you're not missing your vacation.
Yeah.
You're not missing your time.
Yeah,
to consider.
That would stink. Multiple times I've gotten sick and we've had to change our plans because I'll get a respiratory infection at the drop of a hat, and it's unfortunate. But because we slow travel, we've just changed our plans and stayed longer.
Yes, or since sometimes we already had the plan in place, which made it even easier. But with our turtles, some of them have also had jet lag. We've had jet lag, and it's nice to take that pressure off because you know you're not going to be feeling 100%. So you you have the time. You don't have to rush out and force yourself to do everything, because then you just end up feeling worse.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, the fourth difference is the memory problem, that you can't even remember where you are. And we've done this because we've done some fast travel in a row where we've gone from city to city, in like 10 days or less. And sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and not remember where we are. It's very disorienting and disconcerting.
It is. That used to happen to me when I used to travel for work a lot. And, I don't want to actually experience that now when I'm just living my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and it becomes harder to remember where specific things happen. Amelia's always saying, remember, didn't we do this here? I'm like, no, that was Paris. Didn't we go to this attraction or this park here? I'm like, no, that was Rome.
Well, that's not a fast or a slow travel problem. I think it's just a travel problem.
Yeah, I guess it could be. But I think it's harder, though, if you don't stay in a place longer, then it's easier for all of those memories to blend together.
That's true. That is one of the benefits of the selfie, though. So
yeah, it is. It reminds
There's an homage to the selfie.
Yeah,
homage to the selfie, yes.
Yeah, so slow travel creates more of those stronger emotional anchors to places so that you can actually remember where you experienced that fantastic thing.
That is very true, because it's easy to forget some things when we're so busy. We're so immersed in everything that we're trying to do in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. All right, number 5 is the hidden cost of fast travel. And this is something that we underestimated. When we're slow traveling, we only spend a little bit more than we spent living in Ecuador. It's not that much. A lot of people tell us, oh, this is ridiculous. You have to be rich to do this. When we tell people we travel full time, they're like, oh, you must be rich. Like, well, no, we work so we can fund that, but it's also not that expensive when you stay longer.
Right.
When we fast travel, our budget is almost double. It cost almost double.
So much more expensive. And we did not plan properly for that. And boy, that was a painful realization.
Yeah. Well, so the lodging costs more. We don't get those long stay discounts. Air travel often costs, well, you're flying more often. Right. So you pay more for air travel.
Well, and we ended up staying in more hotels because we were doing certain areas where it just made more sense to do a hotel than an Airbnb. It all adds up.
Yeah,
everything adds up.
Hotels are almost always more expensive.
Yeah, then we end up eating out more, and it compounds.
Yeah, so the eating out costs more than cooking our own food. When we slow travel, we cook like 9 out of 10 meals.
Right.
So all of that saves us money. It's so much more affordable to slow travel and stay longer in each place. Okay, up next, we're going to talk about some of the biggest benefits of slow travel. But if this lifestyle sounds appealing to you, we created a slow travel unlocked mini course. It kind of walks you through how it actually works. So if you want to grab that, it's totally free. You can scan this QR code here or go to turtletravelclub.com/go slow.
Okay.
Does that sound good, Amelia?
Sounds good to me.
All right, here's the next difference between slow and fast travel, and that is the people and connection part of the equation. And that when you're fast traveling, you don't really have a chance to get to know anybody.
That is true.
Like any of the locals, you have very little connection. You're kind of sightseeing. You might meet a tour guide, but then they're on to the next tour.
Right.
So it's not like they're real friends. It's not like you're going to keep in touch.
Well, and we've heard that from people where they do connect with other tour members and they think they're going to keep in touch and then they don't, because you're with them for such a short amount of time, and people go back home and they go back to their normal life. Yeah.
And also those tour companies don't really have a built-in community like we do with the Turtle Travel Club, so that our members know each other before, and then they go on a trip and really get to know each other, and then they travel together. So it's not like the relationship dies when they go home. They stay in touch.
But what I like too is that when we go and stay longer in a place, we get to know the locals, where we find our favorite place to go get coffee or go have Indian food, because we love Indian food, or I get my hair done. And then you start to build up a rapport with people. Yep. You start to see the locals. We did that in Palermo, remember? That was fun. We go to that little market and they all knew who we were, and everybody's really nice.
In Auckland, we went to Queen's Ferry. It was Queen's Ferry, right?
Queen's Ferry, I think.
It was a little pub, and it was owned by a young couple, and we got to know them pretty well while we were there, and they gave us a lot of pointers about what to go see and do. And it was so much fun just to go in, and we would walk in and be like, same thing? Like, yep, same thing. Yep. We always got 2 Guinness.
That was pretty easy to remember,
It's pretty easy. Sometimes, Amelia, you got a wine, but Yeah, it was fun. It's
That
just,
was fun.
and we sang karaoke in that bar, and it's fun when you're staying longer that you get a chance to go do things other than sightseeing.
Right. So you test out what it would be like to live there because we also try to stay outside of the main tourist area. For one thing, they can be really hectic and noisy, and we don't like that. But we also do want to live in more of a neighborhood because this is the way we're living.
Hmm.
So we're not trying to live like we're on vacation and
Yeah.
in full bucket list mode.
So speaking of the karaoke, I've got to ask. So we were there.
Jeez.
Amelia was singing with some Kiwis. That's what they call people from New Zealand. And they asked what we should sing. I said something by ABBA, and they all said ABBA. What's ABBA? And I said, the group, the Swedish group. They're like, you mean Ebba, Ebba? Because they talk differently there. So how is it pronounced? Is it ABBA or is it Ebba? I want to know. Put it in the comments. Who's right on
How are
that?
you going to have a pronunciation like that? They can't do audio.
They can type it out phonetically.
Okay.
A-H is ah.
Okay, all right, do that.
E-H would be eh.
Okay, all
Ebba.
right. That's going to be a weird chain of comments.
I'm curious. That was so funny. Then they made fun of me the rest of the night. Do you want to hear more ABBA? They would really over pronunciate the American accent. It was so funny.
It is, hey, they get to make fun of our accent too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bottom line is the longer you stay, loneliness tends to decrease because you actually meet people that you can talk to and hang out with, either locals or other travelers.
Yeah, you'll find it's easier to connect with people. There's just a lot more people traveling right now as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah. All right. Number 7, the difference between slow and fast travel is related to productivity and work. And if you're retired, this may not apply to you unless you have a hobby or something. But for those of us who still work, especially content creators or remote workers, fast travel really disrupts the routine, especially if you're jumping time zones and your meeting today is at 8 and then tomorrow it's at 11 or something, a different time of day or night. It can get really frustrating and confusing.
It does get confusing, especially for people like me who are a bit time zone challenged. I just asked the chat now. I asked AI, what time is it right now in X?
Yeah.
Just to triple check everything.
Yeah. Then you also have like the work setup inconsistencies. You might have really fast internet today and tomorrow you have really slow internet or no internet or it's bouncing constantly. It's really nice when you get a good setup and you get everything optimized and it really helps you be more productive.
Well, and another issue is that you may arrive at your next destination and you have to work and you don't want to.
Yeah, that's true.
And then what do you do? Because if you're not there for that long, you have to make a choice. And I would assume for people who are working like me, I have to get my job done.
Mm-hmm.
So I just can't blow it off.
Yeah.
I like having my job.
Yeah, I think on the other side of that, it allows you to have a healthier work-life balance, especially slow travel.
Yes.
Because you can you get up and it's like a normal day. You get up, you do your work, and then you go for a walk or go see a museum or do something fun. You can do something touristy, but you're kind of have a normal routine.
I agree with that.
And then you can check out. You can go out for dinner if you want to, and you're in a new city and it's exciting, but your work is still there.
Yes. You definitely don't get bored, and you have to work really hard to get bored on this lifestyle.
Yeah, I agree.
When you are moving around, some people slow travel for a month, some people slow travel for 3 months. It's still not, in my opinion, you're not going to get bored because you just aren't there long enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you need to be in a place for a couple of years to get bored.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, and some people say, we really appreciate a deeper perspective on a place. So if you could just go live there for a year or two and then share what you think, that'd be like 1 or 2 videos a year.
That would be tricky.
I don't think we would be considered YouTubers at that point.
No.
And also, we wouldn't have a way of funding that lifestyle.
Well, think about how long that video would be.
I know, and also, we would only do 1 or 2 places a year. I mean, that's not a lot of places.
No, it's not.
It's we want to be able to cover more places because, like we said, one size does not fit all.
Exactly.
All right, number 8 is how your perspective changes over time. And a lot of travelers start with the fast travel mindset. We did. When we started, we went for we were doing 2 weeks in each spot and sometimes less. And at the end of that, we were really kind of tired.
We were tired.
Yeah, so
It didn't last that long.
it did not last that long. Then we stayed for a month in Athens and then almost 3 months in Albania after that.
Yes, that was nice.
Yeah, so when you're doing this, it feels exciting, especially when you first start slow traveling or traveling full time. It's so exciting. You really, every day you wake up and you just say, I can't believe I'm doing this.
You know what's funny is that when we first started this, our 2-week trips were actually slow travel for us, because I think the longest trip we had taken before that had been 3 weeks, and that was to India, and then the other one was to Mexico, but we went to a couple different places in Mexico. We were trying to maximize our time in the Schengen zone too, but boy, was I happy when we finally slowed down and did that month and then 3 months. So yeah, big perspective shift there.
Yeah, I think that over time you shift from wanting quantity of places to quality of experiences. I think that is a mental shift. So rather than just checking off, or collecting countries or checking things off the list, I think you eventually get to the point where you're like, I really want to know what it's like, this place is like.
I agree with that.
Yeah, to be in long term.
Especially for those of us looking for other places to live.
Yeah. So the number 9 is you feel this pressure to maximize every day. And we've heard this from some of our turtles when they're here, and that they can't take a day off. They just can't sit still and be present. They feel like they have to be doing something all the time.
Do you think that's part of our American culture?
I think it is. I do. I agree with that. I think a lot of other countries are much more comfortable just being instead of doing.
But I think that's also because a lot of other countries have a lot more vacation that they get regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think for Americans, a rest day feels wasteful. Like, I'm wasting this time.
Yeah, you start to feel guilty.
Yeah.
It's such a strange feeling. I've felt that before. Like, oh, I should really be doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have that feeling now, but I have experienced that. And now I'm like, oh, I could just kick back and relax.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Albania is really good at being instead of doing. Every day we would go for a walk in the park. We walk by cafes. We'd see the same guys sitting in the same spots or playing dominoes at the same park table and just enjoying their lives.
Yes.
Although I'm not sure about the dominoes. Sometimes they got pretty heated arguments about their dominoes playing in Albania.
It was intense dominoes playing. Well, we'd also see them in the morning drinking their coffee in Rocky. So they start their day differently.
Doing shots of Rocky in the morning. It's like it's 40 to 50% alcohol. It's strong.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I think too that social media can create this pressure, because a lot of people are like, oh, I saw this in a YouTube video or on Instagram or TikTok, and I want to go see it. I have to see this, like this book tower or this, this hidden selfie shot or whatever it is. And I feel like that creates a lot of additional pressure too.
I agree with that.
Yeah, to maximize your time there, to go see all the things you saw on YouTube. What do they call it? They said after White Lotus, and instead of jet setting, people are now set jetting.
Right.
They're like going to, and I feel like people are doing that with us. So we do a video about a place, and then people go there and they want to see it. I think we're having the same impact with our videos.
Yeah, I guess we are. I never really thought about it, but you're right.
So the thing I like so much more about slow travel is that it creates room for what I call serendipity or spontaneity. Because if you're rushing through a place, there's just no time for that. There's no time for just doing something completely unexpected on a day.
I agree.
And also there's no opportunity for unexpected things to happen.
And they do happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big difference between slow and fast travel. All right, number 10 is the one time I think, or we think, that fast travel is actually better than slow travel, and that is when you want to check items off your bucket list.
Yes, this is the exception to this list. And sometimes you just got to go and do that fast travel, and there is nothing wrong with that. Some places may be too expensive, so maybe you don't want to stay there for a month, but you really want to experience it, and you should. Life is short, and I don't regret any of the fast travel we've done, even though sometimes we're pretty tired. I mean, look, we spent that week in Sydney, bucket list place, and we did stuff we would never have done. In
London, it was so expensive. London, especially with the exchange rate against the pound, it's way too expensive to slow travel to London for us.
For us, yes.
But we got to see it. We were there for 10 days, I think.
Yeah.
Totally blew our travel budget that 10 days, but there's no way we could go there and stay long term.
No, it's just too it's just not affordable. And there's other places that maybe you don't want to stay that long, but you do at least want to go, or it's close by. Like when we went over to Bratislava, we only were there for a couple of days, but I'm so glad we went. It's one of my fondest memories of that little trip we took.
Yeah, in Dresden too.
Yeah, and again, that was fast travel, but it really sticks in my mind because I didn't have any expectations and I was completely blown away.
I think that's the serendipity part.
You're
because
right.
we were staying in Vienna for 2 weeks and we decided to just take the train to Bratislava.
Yeah.
And we stayed overnight in a hotel just for fun. And
yeah. So we still were fast traveling, and then we put in another fast travel right in there. And it still worked out so well because the experiences were really, really, I guess, richer. It was a richer experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think too that people who decide to travel full time, and this is definitely a trend because people realize you can do it on a budget.
Right.
And I think we should do that video. How to slow travel on a budget, or travel full time on a budget.
Yeah.
Because you can do it, and we know people doing it.
Absolutely.
On $2,000 a month or less.
Absolutely.
You can do it. It's possible. I think we should do that video.
Okay. Well, we'll add it to the list.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good time to hit that subscribe button so you see it when it comes up. Do you have any other final closing thoughts, Amelia?
Not really. I think that it's really important that you just, I guess, try to budget in some extra time for yourself, no matter what you're doing. Because like you said, you always want to allow for the unexpected to come up. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but life happens and you want to be able to make the most of it and not have any regrets. You don't want to come back from your time, your vacation or your slow travel or whatever it is and say, gosh, I really wish I would have done this, or I would have not done that, or just done things differently. So a little bit of planning can really help out with that.
It can.
Don't over plan.
All right. So we'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. Do you prefer fast travel or slow travel or a combination of the two? And let us know what you have done or what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to hear.
Yeah. And also remember to grab the Slow Travel Unlocked mini course. It's totally free at turtletravelclub.com/go slow.
Go slow. All right. I feel like this was fast because I was so high energy.
I know.
It's fun for us to talk about this.
Yeah, it is.
We're very passionate about this topic.
All right, guys, before you go, leave us a like and we will see you all in our next video.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao.